All right, Marcus, your turn for a question. We're going to switch from booking a little bit. You got your shows now. Let's talk about promotion. Okay. So, Marcus, in your opinion, what works best? Social media promotion, old school word of mouth, or flyers?
Unfortunately, I would say both.
It's a trick question.
I know. But, I mean, Facebook is obviously huge, and whatever I, as a designer, will build for bands or whatever that may be, it's always digital, it's always for that kind of work, just because it's so easy to get out, it's so easy to get in everybody's hands, and it's so easy to spread virally, of course, if I can use that buzzword. But I talked about this with Dan too. Flyers are just insanely helpful. I mean, when I was playing in bands when I was 13 and 14, the internet obviously was around, but and we didn't have the Facebook events, we didn't have all this stuff like that. And my high school was flyered every show we had, and we would flyer it because there's kids everywhere that have no idea that the local exists, especially now. And if we can expand all the promotions out past the standard Facebook friends that we have, things like that, because your friends are your friends, but if you can get flyers out to places that have no idea who you are or what's going on in the area, then hopefully that will help spread and build things.
Let me interject a question. Raise your hand if you guys saw the Facebook page for this event.
Facebook page for what?
This event. Okay, so then raise your hand if you came here for some other reason. Word of mouth or flyer. Okay, well that's not quite the split out, so. But, okay, so Facebook was very effective for this.
Yes.
So we have these flyers out right now, these are local flyers. And a lot of bands these days are like, man, flyers don't pay off. We'll just do it all digital and electronic and online. But this is a black and white quarter page front and back flyer. I don't know what it costs us to get front and back black and white. It's on yellow paper, which gives us some color. But these things are dirt cheap. Okay, you can make a ton of them and send a ton of them out. And not this flyer has.
Danny will cut them for you.
I don't know about that.
Well, it was just to be it was $42 for 1,600 quarter pages.
$1,622?
It was $42, but you don't need 1,600.
No, yeah, I mean, it was one for right?
Not only is this promoting the Slaughter's 10th anniversary show that we're going to be doing, which, by the way, these guys are listen to the hardest working promoters around there. But this has also got 4 other shows and this workshop and our logo big enough to be impressive on the back. This is nothing, right? So these are still very viable options. Locally, we used to send out full-page flyers to a band every show they had.
Yeah. I had to hand deliver those bad boys.
I know that most bands weren't handing them, and that was a shame. Because most bands will not put something like this in your hand. Okay. I don't know what we're doing these days, probably not today or not. But we'll certainly provide you with any digital images. We might even be able to send you a digital flyer you can print yourself. If we have time to do it again.
Yeah. Let's be real. There are probably 800 Facebook events on, like when I sign online. I just wait until they go away. Like I don't look.
That's
if it shows up,
seriously.
If it shows up in the corner, I'm like, oh, cool.
Facebook is good for coverage, but it's a fine line because I mean I lose track of how many invitations I get, and then I find out stuff about too late, and then I feel like a douche because I didn't respond. I mean I'm 40 years old. When I see a flyer, I respect that. I mean it's like that's old school because you have to take. I mean it's easy to sit there. You can create an event like in 30 seconds when you're half awake, but to actually compose a flyer, I mean that just shows incentive. It shows inclusivity. Like you're not trying to, some people are like, well, if you don't have a computer in this day and age, I don't want you coming to my show. That's not the kind of implied or explicit thing that I want to shoot out to musicians or clubs or anybody. I mean, try to get as many people involved as you can, and that's just another way, like you said. I mean, I think it has to be a two-pronged approach, I'm amazed at how many people say.
Respond to your Facebook invites, because they're interested in seeing your band already. But you're never going to grow your crowd with just Facebook, because unless you're some other band, they're like, well, that's my other friend's band. They don't give a crap about your Facebook invite.
It's a whole bubble that you build yourself with all your inside friends. And if you can put out flyers or put out anything that goes outside of that bubble, then that's what's going to get more people excited about it, more people interested in coming down.
These get you unique. Or talking to people gets you unique.
Playing shows get you unique.
Hey,
For those flyers, I'd say about 50% of the people that I get come out of work, I pass over 1,000 of them now.
500 of them around the world.
Yeah, at least 50% of the people that I talked to actually stopped and I had a conversation with them because they saw the swellers. Oh, I love the swellers. Like, they're great. And I'd be like, let me tell you about the show. This show is going to be some of the original members in their lineup. They're going to be playing songs from their entire discography, and it's the very first place that they ever played. And so I had a chance to actually have that personal connection with people and talking to them to promote the show. That is going to be 100% more effective than...
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, basically what you have to do, and this is all I can say about promo, I can sum it all up in one thing, we talk about these parts, but you do everything you could possibly think of every time. Perfect. I mean, there is not a good enough and done when it comes to promoting one of your shows. There just isn't. You're never done promoting your show until you walk on the stage and say thanks for coming out. That's when you're done promoting your show.
And when you're on stage,
you're successful.
when you're on stage for that matter, you're promoting your next show. You know, so be cool.
I mean, the bands that I've seen fill the local, and I don't mean just this space, but every space we've had, if you talk about the Swellers, Chiodos, Kid Brother Collective.
Well, let's talk about the band who collectively drew the least people to every show that I ever did, sold out the Carlton's building when May June ended. There were probably 600 to 800 people sitting on the floor watching this band who never fit with anybody and collectively drew 20, 25, 30 people to their average shows. So they built a fan base, and they were different. But I mean, the band who collectively drew the least kids to a show every time sold the most tickets to any show that I ever did.
If you're in high school, you should be taking flyers to your school. If you're a band that doesn't have a gig on Friday night, you should be going to the venue where you have that gig next week and talking to people handing out.
Yeah.
That's how you get it done. That's how you grow an audience. It's hard damn work.
Plus,
But it pays off every single time you do it.
on top of that too, if you're out there at that show that you're not playing, you're seeing other bands, they see that you're supporting them. And then they feel inclined to come out to your shows and support you, and then try to get your name out there. I mean, and that's really the biggest part of the music community is people helping each other, helping to promote each other's bands, helping to promote the space. So it's hugely important.
When you-
That comes back to the networking thing, and that's part of doing everything you could possibly do every single time. Okay, when you're not playing a show sometimes in your band, you don't really feel like going to a show. You know, when I was running local shows every night of the weekend, there'd be some band you want to see on Sunday, and sometimes we didn't have a show. I'd be like, man, I do not want to go to a show this weekend. But you do it anyway sometimes. And when you're in a band, that's crucial. You know, you go out to see another band that plays something similar to you, that plays in your genre, that plays in a place all the time where you want to play, or maybe you just meet some awesome people too. I mean, remember at the local, in the past, our staff has been made of bands who would watch each other, help promote each other's shows even when they weren't there. And those are the bands that are still playing today, doing tours, or in other bands